is playing Japan this weekend. And I don't know where he is at the moment. Maybe he's had to travel, so travelling all that distance.
Okay.
Maybe he won't be 100%, maybe he will. He seems to travel a lot and win a lot, so it probably doesn't bother him too much, but just something to factor in.
Zorkthar is, I believe, the captain of the team we have playing, first and foremost. Not the anchor, obviously, that's Hunter Race, for very, very obvious reasons, like having won 2 tour stops in the last few months. But Zorkthar has played 1,900 games this season alone.
Doesn't surprise me.
Just needs top 50 to reach playoffs.
Actually, it does surprise me, because Zorkthar tends to get top 100 and then go, I'm going to talk to people about Hearthstone instead of playing. I don't want to get salty.
He's the current Norwegian national champion. And for Hearthstone right now, he's never tried so hard at anything else in his life.
He really is giving it his all, particularly this year. But with BX3, before they merged with Valerenga to make Nordavind, and they were winning sort of Scandinavian championship, team championships over and over again back then. And players like Colbane, who you see in here, who you may not know so well, was like a founding member of that team.
Okay.
So a lot of these guys have known each other for a very long time as well. And that's why you can draw Keleseth on turn 2 so readily.
Keleseth on 2. Yeah, things are looking good for Norway here. They just need to... Well, they've got the Exo curve into. They just need a way of activating that, which worst case scenario...
Void Ripper works?
Void Ripper works. Worst case scenario, they can just play the cube on turn 5. They're looking good. My perspective of this matchup is that it's very difficult for the Shaman. They've got Shadowwalk in hand, so potentially have got that win condition there if they can live that long. The Hunter sort of sits there and does nothing over the first few turns and then explodes at some point to overturn 6, 7, and 8.
Of course, you don't really want to Void Ripper your own egg if you can possibly help it, because the whole point of the egg is it's there making 5/5s for you, and if you try and AoE those 5/5s, the egg then cracks and produces a 5/5 of its own that survives the AoE. So not really the ideal situation to be playing it that way.
So Israel are going to need to be playing a defensive game here. They've picked up Saonite Chain Gang, so the big question is, do they use the coin now? Do they need to save the coin for a Volcano to clear the board later? Volcano's a bit of an issue because of the eggs you've been talking about.
Stitch Tracker. Pretty handy, going to be finding an egg activator if he wants with this.
Stitch Tracker is a card that Soto has been going on and on and on about.
Does he like it?
Over the weekend. He really thinks that Stitch Tracker is good at the moment.
Interesting.
It's there to dig out a weapon removal, it's there to dig out a Spellbreaker, or it's there to dig out a card that you want to play immediately. It just seems to be a very resourceful card. Let's see what Norway is going to take from it.
On the counter of that, 2/2 for 3 mana needs to be a very resourceful card.
Yes.
It's not really a board presence, it's almost like a spell.
Right.
Obviously the 2/2 can be handy, especially in conjunction with other things, and obviously it's a spell that is buffed by Keleseth, which helps significantly, as you can see right now, but it does have quite a big downside in terms of mana.
It does, it does. It's not a card that ideally they're going to want to play in the early game, however, with nothing better to do, it does come down. It's better than just hero powering, and now, tough choice for Norway. Argus is looking better immediately, but you can never have too many cubes against a control deck. Cubes are very hard to deal with.
Very difficult decision because their hand is cluttered for the next few turns. You want to get the Rexar moving a lot of the time, although then you give up your hero power. Obviously you want to start cubing things, you want to start messing around with high mains.
Yeah.
But how they unlock this puzzle of playing these cards in an efficient order is actually going to be difficult, and whatever comes off the top of their deck obviously makes a difference, but I think it'll make a lot more difference than normal into how they organise this.
Honestly, for Zorkthar, I think he's just in such a fantastic position here. Taking the Savannah High Main means he's got something obvious to do on turn 6. He just slammed down a 6/5. Before then, he can play the cube on the egg. He gets a 5/5. Even if the cube gets hexed, that then protects the Savannah High Main next turn. Honestly, I don't think Norway have anything to worry about at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good matchup, obviously, and you're right, I think they're looking in a good spot, but double Volcano Lightning Storm in hand for Israel does mean that this choice of High Main is going to work out well for them, because they are going to have extra resources going forward, and maybe delaying having to play Rexar and getting rid of this hero power, because you can get Shaman down low, but can you finish them if you don't get all your big stuff?
Well, I think as long as the hand is as plentiful as Zorkthar is at the moment, there's just no real reason to drop Rexar just yet, unless they'd like to clear the board. Later on, when the hand's looking a little bit more dry after the cube, after the Savannah High Main have been played, at that point Norway are probably going to have to just, you know, take a break, play Rexar, and then start some of the big stuff after.
Yeah, that explains the High Main pick really strongly,
exactly.
Basically, because that means you can delay the Rexar.
But honestly, just looking at this hand exclusively at the moment, it's difficult to even see if Rexar is going to need to be played this game. As you said, there is the double Volcano and the Lightning Storm present for Glacier, But again, these cards are so bad against the big Death Rattle minions.
Struggling for activators. I wonder if they're going to try... I mean, the cube gets hexed a lot. This is a big problem, but sort of Void Ripper the eggs that come out of the cube in the Christmas world, where things go right very quickly, is a reason to save on. And yeah, just making a board, because one thing this hand is not doing particularly well is getting through 2 3s right now. It's going to change very quickly, but just for the time being, they're a little bit awkward.
I wonder.
No situation, I don't think, that makes sense where they can set up an MC Tech here.
Honestly, Saronite Chain Gang, I think this game, the answer is not much longer.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, Israel clearly trying to play it as aggressively as possible. Grumble. It's just setting up for the Shadow Walk. We haven't seen a Life Drinker played yet.
I mean, do they care? So one of the questions here is, they know it's a bad matchup. Can they just try and make a million Shadow Walks on 9 and not be dead by then?
Well, they can't ever make a million, though, because Grumble's going to go off each time. So they can never have more than... You know, if they get it in the correct order, if they play both of these Saronites, they can end up with, I think, 4 Shadow Walk.
That's a million. It's not going to be a million now this Play Dead's been picked up, though.
And I don't...
Things are going to get naughty really quickly now with Play Deads and Void Rippers if Norway want it to.
Now the Play Dead's been drawn, and the cube eating up the egg isn't...
Right, so now you get double 5/5 with the Void Ripper this time around.
Right.
Now you've still got the cube as a backup plan. Now you've got some AoE protection. And this must be super tempting. Got to work out what they want to do about Grumble as well.
Quickly.
They're going in with a candle shot. They're going to say, okay, you volcano this. Good luck.
This looks like the least volcano-able board that I have ever seen. They can mind control tech this.
Cool.
And they can play both Sound Knights, and they've got Life Drinker as well. So actually, after all of that, Israel have the tools they need to win the game. It's just a question of getting there. So Mind Control Tech can take a 5/5. Sound Knights can put 4 2/3s on the board. They're fine for now. They have a couple more turns.
Good to see Israel, like I was talking about, a lot more discussion this year than last year. They weren't not discussing last year, but I think sort of Glazer was such a star compared to the rest of them last year that they held back a bit. We're talking about that, or Sottle and Raven were talking about that yesterday with Radu.
Yeah.
We are seeing Israel not scared to muck in, and that'll be partly testament to Glazer spending a week working with them.
Yes. I'm trying to work out if that was the worst target or not. Void Ripper. I think it may have been.
Quite likely.
Maybe the egg. Maybe an egg is a worse target, actually, because Israel actually had no way of getting rid of their own egg. If it was there, it'd just be blocking Shadow Walk turns.
This isn't easy either. This is sort of, again, unlocking that puzzle, but they've nearly done it. I mean, everything's gone pretty well, although it's gone pretty well for Glazer and Israel as well.
The Rexar would allow them to make the trade with the Candle Shot, but doesn't really do much else this turn. Grizzly, I guess, has more health than Highmane and allows him to squeeze in the hero power. I'm really finding it hard to look away from that Savannah Highmane, though. Okay.
This is a very good-looking card.
It is. It is.
Legendary that you can play 2 of is always nice. Haven't heard that meme for a while. And now the overload train will probably begin for Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they can't afford to play a Lightning Storm and a Volcano. That's an issue. So where do they think their chances are better? Do they think they have better chances of far-sighting into a second Lightning Storm? Or do they think they have better chances of getting a spell damage? Problem is...
Just roll 3 on all the 5/3s, 2 on both the eggs, and you are doing well. What could go wrong?
I don't think I've ever seen a Lightning Storm where...
Just a 1 in 32 shot.
Where the results have had to be that specific, but we're going to
1 in 32 to roll perfect on the 5 right-hand minions. See how it works out for them.
That's not good, is it?
Was that all 3s? On the ones that mattered, at least. It was all threes. I think every single one was a 3. Oh, one lived.
Yeah.
One lived.
So usually, that would be an incredible result.
I mean, it wasn't horrendous, but they are going to be under a lot of pressure. But yeah, it was in the top end of rolls they could get.
Yeah. So the key thing for Norway here is that they're going to need to play around the Volcano next turn. And again, Savannah Homemade does a fine job of that. But dropping both Terror Scales wouldn't be that bad either, allowing them to fit in a hero power. But Homemade is Homemade.
It's 2-turn lethal as well, making sure that you get that in there quickly, because Israel have advanced their combo a fair way. And as we can see, there's no Healing Rain in the hand at the moment.
So Volcano would clear this if the Sandbiter trains into a 5/5 first, or trades into High Main, or trades into anything, it doesn't matter, but it will leave the 2 2/2s on the board. However, Israel can cast Glacial Shard on one of the remaining 2/2s, meaning that they will only be taking 4 damage this turn. The Glacier shakes his head, he's not happy about this.
Yes. I mean, they're dead to King Crush, right?
Yeah. Oh! Dead to King Crush.
I think there's only one Grizzly in this deck from Norway as well.
That's not a King Crush.
So it was pretty much a 50-50 there.
And now Israel cannot cast the Shadow Walk because they overloaded on the Volcano last turn. Can't even play both Life Drinkers. If they cast Volcano now, then they won't be able to play Shadow Walk again next turn. And
they'll be dead.
Shadow Walk wouldn't be so bad. Yeah, Shadow Walk wouldn't be so bad here if you think about it. Like, Micro Tech would take 1, 2 freezes.
Can't even work out a way where that world works.
Well, it doesn't because of Innovate. If they had 2 copies of Innovate, the world works.
Farsight into Healing Rain, is that enough? Earthshot, not enough, and it's 1-0. No big surprise there. That's one of the bigger mismatches, I feel, in the current meta.
Shadow Walk Shaman versus Death Rattle Hunting.